Hello, beautiful ones. Welcome to Unicorn Light Tarot. Thank you so much for joining us here today. If you just clicked on, welcome. If you've not been here before, and for those of you who are returning, welcome also. I hope everybody is staying safe and sane out there right now. So what I thought we would do today is get you some love and support, which is what we're here for today. So we have 18 animal spirit guides that want to give you some messages. They're going to be sweet, simple messages, again, of clarity and support. If we can give you some practical advice to stay grounded in these chaotic times. And of course, that's what we're here to do too. So it's really about, there's so much going on right now, and there's definitely sort of a layer of fear. But really what we want to do is try and keep you elevated and keep your frequency as high as possible, because there is a cleansing going on, and there is sort of the offshoot of this is quite beautiful. So there's two ways of seeing things. And of course, it's perfectly natural to be a little bit nervous and a little bit anxious with everything that's going on, because it is the unknown and it is, unprecedented. So what we want to do is just, like we said, give you some support, keep your frequency high, keep your immune up, your immune system completely, rock solid. And so what we're going to do is give you some, hope and clarity today. Like I said, 18 different messages for you. So I urge you to, if you like what you hear, I do urge you to definitely give a thumbs up. I'm sorry if you can hear my cat in the background. Give a thumbs up, comment. Love to hear from you guys, and subscribe too, because that's the way that the channel really gets out there and is able to support as many people as possible. And really at the end of the day, that's what we're here to do, to be of service to you guys and make sure that we can do our best to support you in any way that we can. So because there's so many of them, there's 18, I definitely urge you to pick more than one. Obviously, you can pick 18 if you want to. You can do whatever you want. But it's really, I would say, probably around 3 or 4. Go ahead and pick those 4 individual kind of messages for you. But again, you pick as many or as little as you want. So we're going to get right into this today and see what messages we have for you from your wonderful spirit guides. And I'm using the Avalon Oracle deck for any of you who are interested here. And for an extra message too, for extra cards, I am using the tarot cards here. So let's go ahead and move to 1. So number 1 here, if you picked spirit animal number 1, you have the wasp. Anger, retaliation, and jealousy. Okay, and then the number 21 here. So there's definitely, for those of you who picked, I can't say pile 1, for those of you who picked the wasp, there's definitely a cleansing out of sorts that's happening for you. That's wonderful. Now, I will urge you to, some of this might feel a little mucky, and that's totally fine. I do urge you at this point, when these emotions come up, they are a reflection of the outside world, and then a reflection of your inside, your interior understanding of self. So there's also a cleansing of emotions, and there's a unique sort of learning of how to deal with your emotions in a way that you've not done before. So I urge you, if you chose number 1 here, the wasp, just to sit with your emotions, but not to attach with them, and really allow them to sort of guide you to your heart and to a clearer message of what's going on here. The 3D version, or the lower frequency of self for you, is clearing out. And whatever's coming up for you here that is somewhat negative, if it's coming up for you, it's just an indication of what needs to be cleared out. But the main message here, for those of you who chose the wasp, is that it's really about not attaching to your emotions, really understanding what the emotions are, and having control over them. And the way in which you have control over them is ironic, is that you release them. So when they come up, really allow them to do what they do, but do not connect with them. Just sit on the outside and just, almost like you're watching a movie, and you can say to yourself, oh, that's where this came from. Oh, that's why I'm feeling this. So this is kind of a really intense and beautiful time for you to be able to shed the old in a brand new way. There's definitely an upgrade for you, for those who chose the Wasp. Let's see what we have here for your tarot. There's an opportunity for you to really sort of work with your mind and create a new vision for your future. Once you deal with your, not dealing with, but once you learn how to work with your emotions. For those of you who don't like working with emotions, that's because you've let them in and let them drive, be in the front seat, driving as it were. These emotions are coming up for you to realize that now it's for them to be on the back seat, and for you to be able to really see and investigate what it is that needs to be released. That's all it is. And then once you realize that all of these emotions passed, you can release yourself from the story that you've told yourself of who you are. This is a very, very important time for you, a sort of time for coming into oneself in a brand new way. Yeah, you have the Six of Cups here. This is a time for you to connect to your world. These are really beautiful cards. Connect to your world and really disconnect from the story that you've told yourself over the years. Now, we've all done it. Nobody comes here unless they're elevated already or have had some kind of spiritual awakening. Nobody comes here on this earth being human without a story. But all this is alerting you to the story that now no longer really applies to you. And what you can, a sense of community within yourself. There's many different versions of self that you've had over the years, and many of those have been created from the story that you've told yourself. You really have the chance to move beyond this now and really work with your emotions in a brand new way. So I really urge you to sit and allow these emotions to come up. And for those of you who have been a little bit frightened of emotions before because they've been overpowering, or they've been too much, that's just a sign that they want to be heard. That's all they are. Once they're heard and integrated, they move down to a whisper. So for those of you who chose the Wasp, this is a brand new beginning for you, moving into a new sense of cohesiveness, working with your emotions, and you can use the emotions that come up when fear comes up from sort of the external. I'm nervous about this is going on in the world. That's actually just a reflection of first chakra stuff for you, that's coming up in the eternal, in the internal and eternal too. Yes, so this is stuff that you can be working on, and don't fear the emotions. You're working with them in a brand new way. There's a reflection of spirit here that hasn't happened for you before, that gives you the confidence to work with your emotions in a brand new way. So this is exciting stuff for you. For those who have chosen the Wasp, I'm really proud of you. You're going to do this. And once you learn to sort of recreate your reality, your emotions will become your best friend. They will. I promise you. You've got this. Take care. Bye-bye. Okay, for those of you who chose number 2, let's see who you have. What spirit animal has... Oh, okay, the guide. I'm sorry, the guide. Yes, the guide. The guide. I'm feeling a little bit giddy today. The cow. Nourishment, abundance, asking, receiving. Okay, and then number 20 we have here for you. So the cow brings messages for those of you who chose number 2. The cow brings messages of seeing so much beauty in the darkness. Now, a lot of you who chose the cow have done a lot of interior work, a lot of shadow work before, but you've done it on a very intimate level, on a very personal level. You're now being asked to do it for the collective. And again, if you can hear my cat, who's desperate to come in and she is knocking at the door, I am terribly sorry. Yeah, she loves tarot readings. So, you know what? I might just let her in. Give me 1 second. It's just going to be so much easier. Hang on a second. Okay, fine. Come on in. Okay, now you asked to come in. Yeah, sit. Okay, we are back with the cow. Sorry about that. So it's much easier for my cat. Otherwise, she's just screaming outside. Nobody wants to hear that. So you're being asked to do this on a global level, on a collective level now. You've been training for this your entire life. So there's this, and many lifetimes before. So there's nothing that you can't do. The cow is a very sturdy animal, a really beautiful animal, many stomachs. Digestion. There's so many different ways of digesting information. This is for you to be able to do what you've done, what you've been doing your whole life on a global level. Now, you're at the point where you probably have felt a shift very recently for those of you who chose the cow. So you feel like you have a calling and a strength to be able to do this. And you've been working with your spirit guides in a very, very beautiful way. You've been asking them for information and they've been giving you that information. So whatever you've been doing on an insular level now goes to the collective. So you can turn around all of this energy and help the collective now. You are masters of alchemy, whether you realize it or not. So your message is here to take the fear and alchemize it into love. And this is something that you've been able to do to a certain degree on, like I said, like we said, on a personal level. Now you're being able to do it on a global and a collective level, which is really interesting because the last understanding of pulling it together on a personal level will come to you as you do it for the collective. So please take sorry about that, that's my cat. Please take many rests. This takes a lot of energy and there's a lot of downloads that's happening for you. So if you're feeling a little bit more tired than you normally are, that's perfectly natural. If it is possible to take more rest, please go ahead and do that for you because you're working for the collective now. All you need to do is meditate and ask for help. I'm sorry about the shaking camera. My cat keeps running up and down here. So all you have to do is go into meditation and ask for help and really clear your mind. And it's all the information that you need to work on the alchemizing level will come to you very, very quickly. You're working with these beings. Okay, Mildred, really? Okay, that's... Mildred, come on. Come on. Yeah, okay. Got some cat energy on here. Mildred, please, come on. Yeah, no, don't tell me no. Come on. Down, please. Yeah, you're welcome to come in. Okay, there you go. You got some extra cat energy there. Nay, Mildred, down. I'm going to put you outside now. Come on, down. Thank you. All right. There you go. She'll settle down in a second. She's an animal. You can't control them. You're not supposed to. Okay, so you have the Knight of Wands. Yes, you have the essence of truth that's coming in. And again, this is just moving on to the next version of what it is that you're supposed to do. So this is a calling for you. And if this is resonating, this is definitely something that you're supposed to do. Again, work on the collective. Take the personal, work on the collective. Alchemizing from fear to love. Mildred, don't you dare. Don't you dare. She's all hopped up on catnip. So it's just asking and receiving here. All right, she's just going to sit on the end there. That's perfect. You see her shadow. So, yeah, Mildred's now looking over this, all these readings, so they're going to be extra potent. So this is working on the collective for you is really, really important. But again, bringing in all of the knowledge that you've done, completing your own personal work by working with the collective too. This is about shining your light, taking your wisdom, and working with the collective. So once you go out, it's like a beaming. I think it's the Batman beam, when you put out the SOS. Once you start working with the collective, others will come, others' energy who's also working with the collective will come with you too. And all of those energies will work together and be really, really strong in what you do. So for those of you who are feeling as though there is a calling coming into this and whatever we're going through right now is inevitable, and we're going through a cleansing, which is actually happening, but there's a fearful lining and there's a sort of a lining. You are with the alignment. So just sit with yourself, sit back with the alignment, ask for help. in receiving here, and work with your spirit guides to take the personal to the global and alchemize whatever it is that you're doing, and you'll bring in your own unique personal level, your wisdom of moving toward. And again, it's really important that when you work with the collective, what will happen is that, again, your personal understanding of self and the way in which you work with your own energy will elevate too. So by helping the collective, you actually seal your own version of reality. You actually seal your own cleansing process and see it through to the end. So for those of you who picked the cow, this is a very exciting time for you. You've been leading up to this. For those of you who are resonating with this reading, but you feel as though you're sort of on the outskirts of this, you haven't quite been there yet. You're putting your toe in the water of the collective. But you're feeling as though you're being called to work on the collective level, but you're not there yet. This is your confirmation that this is indeed what you need to do. Now, all you need to do is close your eyes and bring in your guides. You're absolutely there, working with them 150% right now. So if you don't know the way forward, just work with them. They're there for you right now. So this is very exciting time for you. Whoever chose, for those of you who chose the cow, really proud of you, and I'm excited to see how you get out there and work with the collective. Take care. Bye-bye. All right. For those of you who chose spirit animal number 3, we have the dragon, power and strength. And we've got Mildred here, kitty cat, just looking over the reading. So there is definitely an awakened passion that's come in for you. I would say for a lot of you, not only are you fire signs, or you have a lot of fire energy, but you've been ignited recently with this idea or this understanding of passion in a brand new way. You also have the very unique way, I think a lot of you out there, and again, these are general readings, but for most of you who are resonating with the dragon icon, you are able to sort of see things from a philosophical, from a sort of a higher viewpoint. And it's not that you don't feel the anxiety of what's going on and a little bit of fear, but when it comes in, you're able to pull yourself up and see it from more of a global level. And that's the dragon energy and the passion working with you. It's a really beautiful, protective energy that's around you right now. A lot of you probably have literally dragon energy around you. And a lot of you, for some of you, this is the sign of the phoenix. You're coming into a new version of self, of moving into shedding the old, but burning off the old. So there's a sense of passion that's coming in. And as everything's going on in the world, for some of you, there's a really, really strong sense of self. And this is what, as you're in the incubating period, for a lot of you who are, or a lot of you who are about to go into the incubating period, this is a time for you to work in the balance of the collective and the individual, but working that passion. You've been ignited recently, which is absolutely wonderful, in a brand new way. So you're working with this brand new energy. So this incubating period for you is a very beautiful, intense time. And it's a very necessary time for you to regroup and learn how to work with this energy, because it is brand new for you. Okay, so you have the King of Swords reversed. Now, what I would say about this is that this can be a very sort of disconcerting energy at times for you, because it is brand new. We want to remind you that there's so much that you've been through. You've been through so many ups and downs. And for those of you who have doubted that you would ever get to this point, so this is a brand new way of working with energy. Now you're actually burning off the old with the passion and the fire and rising like the phoenix. And again, with the dragon energy here, there's a profound sense of strength. Now there's a really, really big message here of staying grounded. This energy for some of you is overwhelming a little bit, even though you've accepted it. And there's a part of you that's quite excited by it. Some of you are getting a little overwhelmed and even bold bowled over by it. I'm getting this vision of, being in a bowling alley and you're sending that bowling ball down there. For those of you who are feeling that way, please, please, please meditate and ground into your energy. It's so important right now for everybody to stay grounded, but particularly those who chose the dragon energy. It's so much more important for you to stay grounded and really work with the earth chakra here and your first chakra and really remain in that earth. Just stay grounded. So this energy has a chance to sort of work its way up and cleanse out the old. You're definitely working with this passion fire energy in a brand new way. Now, for those of you who are pushing to work with the collective, you're being asked to stay still right now, remain earthy, remain grounded, and work with your own energy. Now, you're being reminded here, and this is very important, that for those of you who have that calling and feel as though they really want to work with the collective, the best thing that you can do for the collective is to work on your own energy. Once you cleanse your own energy with this passionate energy that's coming up, with this fire energy that's coming up, and remain grounded, you send out you send out signals. Sorry, my cat again. You send out signals to the collective and it gets stronger. So for those of you who are getting impatient with this beautiful energy and it's like, I'm incubated here, what am I supposed to do with it? And kind of feeling a little overwhelmed by it, ground into the energy, get back into your sense of self. And remember, the more that you do with the individual energy of passion right now is the more that you can help solidify the collective. So whatever you are doing on a personal level by staying grounded is actually doing an incredible amount for the collective. So do not doubt yourself. And it's a time to really sort of take this incubating period and work on yourself with the collective in mind, certainly. But this is time to put your energy first and work with this passionate kind of phoenix dragon energy in a brand new way. And do not doubt that you're not doing incredible things for the collective. Please, please stay grounded though. It's important for you to stay grounded. There's so many grounding meditations. Keep your feet on the earth. Just if you can go outside, I know we're not supposed to be around people, but if you have a backyard, whatever you can do, put your feet in the earth and remain grounded while this energy is working through you. It is burning everything that you no longer need off, and the rest of it will remain as passion. This is beautiful energy. You can also reach out to dragon spirit guides. And for many of you, you actually have a dragon spirit guide. That's what they're here. Insofar as like the dragon spirit is coming to you and giving you this message, but I actually mean that a lot of you actually physically have dragon spirit guides and have had them throughout your life. There's also Thunderbird too, which is Native American, but there's also Thunderbird energy around a lot of you too, so you might want to look that up. And these are spirit guides that are not just coming through today, but have been with you all the time, but they're coming in to work specifically with this energy around you now. Stay grounded, keep the faith, work on yourself, and know that that's helping the collective in ways that you could not even imagine. So, dragon peeps, you take care of yourself, and until we meet again, bye-bye. Okay, so for those of you who chose animal guide number 4, let's see, the stag, pride and leadership, and number 17 here too. So if these numbers resonate with you for any particular reason, that's wonderful. I would say for you, you're moving into message that I'm getting for you, the stag. You're moving into this kind of way of glory too. The pride that you have, you've actually come through something recently and you're coming into a brand new way of being. And this is not a small thing. And it's something for you to sit there and really be mindful of and really be proud of. All of the work that you have done, some of it has been sort of a lot of shadow work. And there's been times where you didn't think that you would be able to get out of it. It's been kind of crazy. And you've had a lot of ups and downs, but you've reached this sort of plateau recently. There was sort of a shift. There was a shift with you recently for those who chose number 4 in the stag, where there was this new sense of sort of grounding and hope that you haven't had before. And for those of you who are sitting there and just like with tears in your eyes, with this sort of immense gratitude of how you got here and what you went through and being able to see sort of aspects of your life with this brand new sort of objectivity. Yes, you sit there and you go, you absolutely go and believe in yourself and give yourself that huge hug that you deserve. You have been through hell and back. And this is sort of a sort of a new way of grounding into a brand new energy, into the shift that you just had. And for those of you who have been leaders your entire life, but have never really gotten to the point where you wanted to lead and be of service the way that you wanted to, this is your time to step into that power. You are definitely, and everything's going to be so much easier for you. The shift that you just had, that you just moved into, I feel as though, 3 steps forward, 5 steps backwards, 6 steps forward, 3 steps backwards. You've had to work very hard and put out some energy out there. And for those of you who have taken a lot of like abundance and how to manifest kind of courses, or read these articles and things like that, and some of them have manifested and some of them haven't, but it's been up and down. This is a time where you've reached that plateau where everything gets easier. You're plugged in for the first time in a brand new way. So expect whatever it is for the higher purpose, for you to sit and relax and release. That's not been easy for you, because there's been a sense of control, and you've needed that control because you've been through hell and back, and people have taken advantage of you before. So that sense of control was set up by you for protection. You no longer need that. You're in this surrendering mode, and in that surrendering mode, whatever it is that you need just comes to you so much easier. This is going to be a really vibrant and beautiful time for you. Keep yourself in that higher frequency. If that fear comes in from the external, and a little bit of that low-grade anxiety that you've been feeling, which is perfectly natural, just step back into that grounding feeling and that sense of pride of how far you've come. And then you'll shift that low energy frequency into the high energy and return back to self. 5 of Swords. Yes, you've come out of this fighting. You've had to fight for things. You've had to fight to be heard. You've had to fight to be seen. You no longer need to do any of that anymore. It's this beautiful kind of standing in your own pride, in your own sense of self, without needing to prove anything, or without, literally, if we can be frank, without caring what other people think. There's nothing to prove anymore. I feel as though you've gone through the other side of that ego aspect where, sometimes it was almost survival. I need to be seen by you. I need you to see what I'm trying to see, what I'm trying to say. And you no longer need to do that. There's a sense of self. You've pulled back aspects and parts of yourself, and you've put yourself back together in this beautiful way. Now this completed form of self has a new version and has a new sort of correlation, a new idea of abundance, a new connection with abundance. Again, just sit in this power, remain grounded. Again, if that low-grade anxiety, if that anxiety comes in, if you're affected by anything that comes in specifically, just ground into that energy, ground into that sense of abundance and sense of pride of how far you've come. You'll higher your frequency. Once you stay in that frequency that's higher, you'll be able to manifest anything, as long as you come back to the sense of why you're here. I'm here to be of service. You surrender how you do that, everything will come so much quicker and easier for you. No longer are you putting in all those hours of effort to see where it comes in. Let everything go and see what comes back. I promise you, the one thing that will come back, for those of you who chose the stag, is far more abundance than you ever understood. What you've asked for in this world, it's coming to you, but it's coming to you in a completely different way, and it's going to be much higher level than you ever thought possible. So just sit in that pride, remain grounded, and just elevate yourself, elevate your frequency when that low-grade anxiety comes in, and you'll be able to get to that effortless manifestation stage of being that you deserve. Okay, for those of you who chose the stag, thank you for joining us today. Until we meet again, bye-bye. All right, my loves, here we go. Number 5. Let's see what the spirit guide has for you. The Raven, one of my favorites. Magic, coincidence, synchronicity, and events. Events. I'm dyslexic, so sometimes when I try to read out loud, it goes a little haywire. But the Raven is absolutely beautiful. With this, I feel as though there's been a lot of synchronicities around you recently, and you may even have the Raven energy around you. I live in New Mexico, so we have crows everywhere, and So they've definitely been around me. I would say that your third eye has been activated in and around that time. Your sense of purpose has really come back. The way in which you're using your personal magic, and I would say on a more specific level, your personal magnetism has increased tenfold, right? For those of you who have chosen the Raven, isn't that true? And I feel as though you're working with your energy in a brand new way. Something has loosened up and your sense of self has come in, but it's a different kind of sense of self. You've always hidden your magic to a certain degree. It comes out in certain ways when you are feeling safe, but something has clicked with your energy recently where you're literally, excuse my French, you're literally like, feck it, I'm done. I'm just going to be myself whenever. And there's something about this incubating period that's providing you some security here for you to really engage with your own personal magic in this essence of freedom that you've never had before. For those of you who are watching more science fiction stuff or watching more horror stuff, but more psychological kind of like supernatural kind of like movies, even from the 70s or things like that, or you've been thinking about that, or you've been drawn to that, it's the way in which you're using your power is different. So you might be attracted to sort of like either books or any kind of media, even short YouTube videos that are talking about how people use their power or supernatural or sort of paranormal stuff. And for those of you who may have been a little bit like frightened of that before or a little bit nervous of watching that stuff, you may be a little bit more attracted to it right now just because the way in which you're working with your energy has opened up and you're really not as afraid as you were before. You've really understood aspects of the darker side of self. So you're no longer sort of fearful of that, and you're interested in how it breaks down, how it works, and you're interested in how it breaks down with other people. So you might be interested in sort of true life paranormal events, that sort of thing, how it worked for other people's, how they got through it, how it works in general, and you're not as intimidated by it. So I would say there's nothing wrong with that if you're attracted to it and, you come across something on YouTube or, one of those movies, and you want to watch it and see how that paranormal instance sort of worked for them. Again, all of that stuff, you take it with a pinch of salt, but again, you already know that, but you're trying to figure out how it all works for others as a collective, but how it works for you as your own personal magic is coming in. And you're sort of oozing it right now. It's sort of sexy. And this is something that you've always had, but again, you've hidden it in certain circumstances. You've not integrated it the way that you are in this world. Now, the way in which you're working with it is very much on a solo level right now, but it's still working with the collective in ways that you may not be aware of yet. But it is coming out, and people are noticing. Yes, Three of Cups. People are noticing, and people are definitely very attracted to your energy right now, and there's a reason for it. You're very captivating, and you've really embraced the magical side of you, which has brought your personality up to the next sort of level. People are finding you very captivating. Now, a lot of people would have found you captivating before, but not to this level because you've hidden it before. Like we said, some of it has come out at certain times when you felt safe. But now you're just like, this is who I am. This is what I'm doing. It's a really beautiful time to be you. This is like, even though for those of you who are magic makers and really understand the essence of magic and have really been studying the esoteric and the sort of occult for many, many years, and for those of you too who are brand new to it, it really doesn't matter, because even if you've been studying it for many years, you're working on a brand new level now. So I would say take this incubating period, if you are in the incubating period, to really sort of delve deep now that you're sort of open and free, and really see, really experiment. For those of you who know what you're doing, and you do know what you're doing, there is an essence of self, that really powerful sort of magic that's in and around you, that's, again, will be working for the collective later on. But take this time to sort of experiment and watch those movies, or, read those books. those books on the shelves that you bought, many, many years ago, maybe because you were really interested, but you never got round to reading them. Communicate with those spirit guides, communicate with other realms. You're also transcending realms and timelines. I mean, you're doing some shaman stuff here. So this is time for you to really work with your energy, take your magic to the next level, and just really have fun with it. Have fun. Enjoy this freedom, this openness that you've just come into. Absolutely wonderful. Definitely, as an added bonus, stay grounded always. Watch what you eat too. If you eat clean, it's going to help your magic, especially as you're working at this level. So, get a lot of sleep. Definitely work with, a clear mind when you're working with energy and with the magic level that you're on. But this is a really beautiful, exciting time for you. I'd love to hear from you in the comments for those of you who chose Raven, what kind of magic you're working on and if this resonated with you. This is an incredibly powerful time for you. I can't wait to see new level of magicians and occultists out there. So you take care, and until we meet again, Ravens, bye-bye. Okay, number 6. Here we have, if you chose number 6, your spirit animal is the eagle. Spirit, integrity, connection to the angelic realm. So for those of you, this came up in another reading too. For those of you who are looking for another perspective, you are in a situation, you are here to be able to see sort of the global version of this. You're able to see, for those of you who are feeling a little bit nervous, obviously that's totally understandable. Allow those that energy in, allow that emotion in. Don't dumb it down, but just see it for what it is. You can raise your frequency very, very quickly. And for those of you, you don't just have an objective kind of point of view of what is going on right now. You have the eagle point of view. So you're actually seeing things from Mother Nature. You're actually working from an essence of Mother Nature. So you can see this globally working in a cleansing way, and that really sort of calms your heart with all of the sort of the basic fear level that's going on. The media is also going crazy with this stuff too. And there's another level to it that you're really connecting to. The old systems are falling apart, and those old systems are really making a lot of drama here. Now, I don't want to minimize this. Please stay safe. Please do what you're supposed to do. We're supposed to look after each other. And do your due diligence here. I'm not saying that this isn't happening. This is absolutely happening, and we should take it seriously. But what I'm saying on a media level, the hype of this is not really helping everybody, getting out all the information of what we should be doing and complying with that so we can look after our brothers and sisters and everybody who identifies however you do. Look after each other on this earth is very important, but you're seeing this from Mother Nature's point of view, and you're also seeing through the illusion of all of this, the illusion of the media. You're coming in with messages from the spirit guides. For those of you who are getting messages from spirit guides, you're doing something similar to what I'm doing. Get out there and get those messages out there of higher grade, seeing things from Mother Gaia, from Mother Nature. There's something very specific going on here. There's a cleansing, there's a crumbling, there's a new earth coming in. If you have those messages of the collectives, for those of you who are star seeds, angelic beings, really we have all these labels for whoever we are, but we're really part of a collective, and these labels really don't mean anything anymore, but they mean something for you to be triggered. So if you're listening to this and you're feeling triggered in a good way, you're being triggered into remembering who you are. Remember, you are the eagle. You're seeing through the illusion of the fear. And it's really, and there's no pressure. It's not up to you. You have as much time as you need. This is absolutely just you walking into your own power whenever you need it. But you do have the facility and the capability of talking from the light. So for those of you who are feeling ready, and only if you're feeling ready, the leadership skills are coming in for you. And you can definitely give messages of love and hope. Again, on YouTube, anywhere. If you're already doing it, you can take it to the next level. We have the Seven of Wands. You are here to show people how to build through the illusion, how to see through the illusion, and how to leave fear behind. Again, I want to be very clear. It does not mean by any stretch of the imagination that this is not happening. But there's a reason why it's happening, and we can all stand together. And that's the message that you're bringing. Yes, please stay safe and calm out there. It's really, really important. But really, you are bringing in these messages of love and hope. And again, you're not just seeing this from an objective viewpoint, you're seeing this from Mother Nature. So you can actually provide messages and hope and security from Mother Nature herself, and channel Mother Nature and give people the support that they need. Again, if you're doing this already, you can take this to the next level. For those of you who are not doing it yet, you are absolutely ready to do this. This is your confirmation that you are absolutely and completely ready to do this. There's no better time than now. You've done all the work leading up to this. You've got this. Off you pop and do what you're meant to do. Show people, and you'll know how to do this. You have angelic, you work with the angelic realm. A lot of you are actually earth angels specifically. So you have very, very strong spirit guides. You're working with the angels already. So they will give you specific baby steps to move forward, specific steps in order to do this. But your message here is to work through the illusion of fear, bring practical support advice from the perspective of the higher realm of Mother Nature herself. Not small work, Eagle, those of you who have chosen the ego, but no better people to do it. Don't think for a second that you have not been leading up to this your entire life and in many lifetimes before. This is not the time to doubt yourself. You're ready to do this. And again, if you were doubting, this is your confirmation. Off you pop and change the world. That's what we're here for. And there's no better person in the world to do this than you. All right, Eagle, I'm going to say goodbye for now, but thank you for joining us. Okay, number 7, let's see what we have here. Who is your guide? The B, luck, industrious, sweet victory. So for those of you who are feeling as though you've moved into, again, a brand new version of self, there's a lot of transformation energy in these readings today, and I'm really not surprised at all. There's so much transformation, of course, going on in the world and the universe, as we know, as we're perfectly aware of. But I feel as though you've definitely just sort of, you've come in from this sort of fearful taking on a lot of that energy. All of you beautiful empaths out there, I know that the first couple of weeks of this, there's still some anxiety and there's still a little ups and downs, but I know that you were very affected by this at the beginning as it all sort of went down, as it were, because of your empathic abilities. It took you a little while to sort of recover from that because you were taking in so much from the external world. God love you, honestly. That's, to be an empath right at the beginning of what was going down must have been, I was there too. It was not easy. And staying grounded was very difficult. But you've just turned a sort of a corner here, and you're working, you're seeing yourself in a new light. You're now figuring out boundaries of what the external versus the internal. You're able to really ground into your own energy now. And I'm not saying that, the fear doesn't come in every now and again, but you are working with your emotions in a brand new way. You're also being able to be there for your group of friends and whoever it is that's around you in a new way. And that's giving you strength and a sense of purpose. This is something that you can do on a global level, but even at the level that you're doing it now is absolutely brilliant, and it's important. Even if you're even if you're doing it as the head of your household, whatever you're doing, you're taking care of business, and you're getting everything done. And for those of you who are quite surprised as like how chilled you are right now, please take that as a sign that you have done so much work here, and you've taken on so much energy, and the way in which that you're working with your emotions is not a small thing. Like we've said, you've turned the corner here, and you have every reason to be proud of your new energy. And for those of you who are feeling like you're not quite there yet, this is confirmation that your energy is shifting. You did take on, it's almost like it was a floodgate when it all first happening, right? It was a little bit of a floodgate. Everything came in, and it's like you couldn't control. You felt like you were drowning a little bit. But little by little, you figured out where you were, and you gained your power back. And from that sense of self, you're now still sitting in that sense of power. There's a part of you that absolutely understands from all the way through your system that you are a galactic being, that you are a being of light. You've really connected with that source of self in a way that you've never been able to do before. And there's something really beautiful about that. And you're taking that energy out, and you're working that energy by taking care of business and doing things in your community or whatever it is that you do. And for those of you who don't feel as though you're not doing enough, whatever it is that you're doing is making a huge impact. That is definitely the message that I'm getting. I mean, massive impact. So please do, sit in this sweet victory. Sit in this beautiful, wow, I'm here. I'm feeling this. I can do this. In this really, I can do this courageous energy. Just if you relapse into this, I'm not doing enough, the fear is coming in, just let your mind go free. Ground back into your energy and get back into that high frequency, sweet victory place of, oh my God, I can't believe I'm here. I can't believe I'm feeling this. I can't believe that I can be here for the collective. I can't believe that I've worked through my emotions, or I'm working through. I mean, this is not a small victory for you. This is huge. This is a brand new way of working with your own energy. The world, yes, for those of you who have gone through so much, you're working with your energy in a brand new way. And for those of you who are feeling as though they're not doing enough, you have no idea how much you're doing. Again, this came up in another reading specifically. Whatever we do on a personal level to completion strengthens the collective out there. So for those of you who are working, who are sitting there going, there's so much I want to do in the community, but again, there's not much that we can do insofar as we're not, we're isolated here. For those of you who are feeling like, there's so much that I need to do, there's so much I need to do, but I can't physically do it, and feeling hard on yourself, work on your own energy. Your own sense of collective energy will translate to the collective at large. I promise you, the sweet victories, grounding into your own sense of power and pulling all aspects of yourself back into the sweet victory that you have, and doing everything on the small level that you've got here is enough. It's been translated to the other collective, and on a very specific level, what it's doing, your energy is pulling in and activating other collective energies, and then they're standing strong. Whatever you're doing, busy bee, I promise you, this is your message. You are doing enough. You are doing so much more than you can ever imagine right now. You may not be able to see the fruits of your labor, but you can feel in the collective. You can feel when you get down to it. You can feel the strength in the collective, and that is your reward. The power is strong in you. The force is strong with you, right, Luke? Trust me, it's happening, and you can feel as when you feel that strength, when you feel that power, when you feel that strength of victory, that's because you're lending your energy out to the collective, and it's coming in and remaining strong. That is your proof right there that you are doing more than you can ever possibly know. So don't ever doubt yourself. You've got this, busy bee. Okay, so for those of you who chose to be, well done. Stay in that collective energy, stay in your own energy too, and really keep pulling in aspects of yourself, and stay grounded. And until we meet again, you take care. Bye-bye. Okay, number 8. Let's see what your spirit guide has for you here. Oh, the swan. Transformation, trusting the psychic gifts. Yeah, I feel as though for you, the first message that I'm getting for all you swans out there is that it's almost been sort of like this moment in time, whatever it is that we're going through, you've almost sort of felt as though I just got this vision of you being thrown off the side of a boat and like, all right, go swim. This came to you, very quickly, and there's a sense of overwhelming, and you were already in the process of transformation in an acute way, I would say. But there's something that's really, and also you have the number 12 too. There's something that's happened that's really beautiful for you, the swan. And that's bringing in your childlike sensibility. You've really just connected with your inner child in a brand new way that's brought a whole new level to your existence. You've always been very psychic. You're definitely empaths. For those of you, I don't really like the word occult because it makes people nervous, but you've been working with these these energies of what people would consider unknown, but they're not unknown to you throughout your life and in many different ways. But because you've integrated the sense of self that's really beautiful, this inner self, this inner child, like you're able to work psychically in sort of a brand new way, because there's a sense of easiness and a sense of freedom that you've never had before. This childlike level of existence that's now been integrated very easily. And that childlike essence for you was activated as this all went down. So it's a new sense of transformation for you. I feel as though for those of you who have worked with the inner child before, you're definitely, you understand inner child work, and I think there's an essence of the inner child coming in and out and this, but this is full integration, or about to be full integration. For your inner child. So there's a sense of play that's coming in. And for some of you, you're feeling like, is this appropriate? Because all of this stuff that's going on. Yes, absolutely, it is appropriate. There's nothing about your personality that is not taking this seriously and is not, staying safe and calm. But the sense of joy and childlike essence of you is absolutely needed right now. And again, it's enabling you to sort of work with your psychic gifts in a brand new way. You're able to sort of work with your spirit guides, and I would say too, different realms in brand new ways that are coming so easily for you, in ways that never came easily. I feel as though in the past you've wanted to work and you've gotten some kind of leverage, you've moved toward it, but you've never gotten the level of clarity, the level of messages that with so much ease that's happening right now. It's a very exciting time for you. Yes, my goodness, look at this, Swan, the Fool, brand new beginnings. But it's this brand new beginnings of freedom. The Fool is open. It's, where do we go next? Let's see what happens, but the Fool has expectations. Oh, not exactly expectations. The Fool has they're not clueless. They're just open. They have the wisdom. Look, standing on all of this wisdom from before, now completely open. The way in which you're working with magical realms, it might sound silly, but this is the message I'm getting. The way you're working with realms, the working with your own energy, this childlikeness, this essence of joy is bringing you into this brand new way of being. Again, we had, before we had the essence of people, I can't remember which one, but the essence of somebody working with more shaman-like, kind of moving into different existences and shifting into timelines. This is the stuff that you can do, Swan, with ease and beauty because of this new level of integration that you have. The Fool is absolutely brilliant. And again, for those of you who are thinking, is this an appropriate time to start doing all of this stuff? Absolutely. This is your confirmation. There's two levels here. There's the fear level that's going on, and then there's a transformational cleansing level moving into the new world. Your energy is connected to the latter. So this joy, this moving into the new world, moving into new realms, working in realms in a brand new way, in this sort of light-hearted, really sort of elegant kind of like, almost like, yeah, this is me, I can do this now, but you deserve this. You've worked this your whole life. This is something you've always wanted to do, but it's almost like you just sort of released everything and let it go. And now all of a sudden, you trying to do this never really worked to this level. Now that you've stopped trying, everything comes in with ease. You've always known that you've had the capacity to do this. It's just that you've been working with the ego. You've been trying to control the energy. You've been trying to control the essence of wanting to do this, if that makes sense. Now that the childlike energy comes in, it's just relaxing into, I know I can do this. So you're moving gracefully into new realms and timelines. And you're trusting this. You're trusting that you know what you've done, because you've done all of the heavy work before. You've studied all of this stuff. You know how it works. You've just never been working at this level before. Keep up with that high frequency, that joy, that childlike essence, that beautiful new way of gracefully working in brand new realms. This is so exciting for you. So for those of you who chose the Swan, I am incredibly excited for you and me. I'm kind of working like that too. So if this resonated with you, I'd love to know in the comments how this is working for you, what kind of realms you're working in. Yeah, stay in contact. And until we meet again, you take care. Bye-bye. Okay, my lovelies, for those of you who chose Animal guide number 9. Let's see what we have here. The frog. Cleaning house, releasing emotional baggage. Well, and we have the number 14 here too. So for those of you on a very practical level who are actually indoors right now, whether you're on self-quarantine or you're supposed to, either way, for those of you who are at home, this is a good time for you, incubation period, for you to, there's a lot of stuff that's coming up. I would say for a lot of you frogs too, there's a lot of beauty that's coming up. There's a lot of, I feel a lot of you are sitting there and sort of crying. There's a lot of different ways this is happening. Some of them are just sort of like happy crying in a way. They're sort of joyful. There's a lot of releasing that's going on for you, especially from childhood stuff. You're being able to see the story of your childhood. You're releasing the understanding of self in a brand new way, which is kind of beautiful. On a practical level, cleaning house obviously is a great thing. If you're going to be there anyway, why not clean it, right? But I feel as though it's also on a spiritual body level. You are cleaning house and you're really being able to connect to your sense of self in a brand new way. Again, there's a cleansing for those of you who had kind of tough childhoods insofar as like you were not accepted or you were not seen for who you were. For some of you who were not allowed to really use their voice, and you've had to learn how to use your voice, your throat chakra. You're not the sort of person who necessarily utilize their voice, or if you did, you stuck up for other people or for injustice, but you've not really done that for yourself. There's a new way of working with your throat chakra, all you folks who chose the frog, and really allow all this old story business just to come up and release. You have this new objectivity, which is really beautiful. Like like we said, where your childhood is a story. Now it really happened, it did, but you realize how you took on that story and you integrated into your identity. You're coming from a new sense of power and purpose now. So when you're releasing, allow those releases of, oh my God, I can't believe I went through this and how amazing I am. Like for some of you, you're sitting there and there's this tears of joy and real appreciation for who you are and what you went through, and knowing that you can see that in others and you can truly help in a global way because you went through that. So there's a real cleaning house. There's a real cleaning soul factor that's going on with you. And it's really a very much of childhood stuff. Like there's a lot of projection that was put upon you. A lot of you had to grow up way too soon. Some of you didn't even have proper childhoods or, an extended period of a proper childhood, because you had to be grown-ups and adults so quickly. Maybe you had to be the parents in a way. I feel as though that's been very difficult for you, but you're seeing everything for what it is and truly releasing in a brand new way and form. This is really holding you sort of not responsible, but this is holding you in a space of real gratitude for who you are. And this is really important for you, for those of you who've chosen the frog, because usually you're very hard on yourself. You don't, even if you achieve something, you allow yourself like this half an hour of like, oh, I did this. And then you're back to feeling, that's not enough. You're very hard on yourself, but this is all sort of shedding and leaving. Yes, King of Swords, you're taking this beautiful energy of wisdom and truth, and something's been activated in you too, and you have the space in order to sort of cleanse everything around you. For those of you on a practical level who have been thinking about doing this, or actually doing this, cleansing and taking things out of your space that remind you of the old you no longer need it. Minimal means many different things to different people. On a very basic thing, if you look at a room and everything in that room has a purpose and it means something to you and it's utilized, that's fine. That can be minimal to you, even though there's a lot of things in that room, like you have 100 books or something like that. But for you, a practical cleansing thing of taking things out, from your soul on an emotional level and on a physical level of old things that no longer apply anymore. things that you used to wear, old things that remind you of the old you. There's a practical level here that you can really work on, just, and if you're not in a position to take them anywhere right now because we're all kind of on quarantine, that's fine. Just put them somewhere, put them all together, collect them in your house, put them in a safe place, and that's the first thing that that gets released. Or if it's something that you can give to the community, that's something that you can do too. So there's a cleansing on many different levels: a metaphysical level, a spiritual level, a soul level. And again, on a practical level, on a level that you can actually do, that makes your space feel the way in which you feel, which is empty. For the first time, you're feeling a little bit more empty than you normally do. And this is a good thing. You're not trying to fill up on brand new stuff. You're just at the releasing. And the most important message is keep up that self-appreciation of, you've not been good at this before, really sitting in that space of, I am enough. I've done this. I can't believe I survived that. That's amazing. Really sit in that space. And just, for those of you who are sitting in that releasing space and having those tears of joy and appreciation for who you are and what you've been through and what you can do with that knowledge, please sit with that energy for as long as you can, that level of self-appreciation, because this is incredible for you, what you're doing. And really sit with this releasing. This is an incredible time to gather up your courage and all of that wisdom that you always had, but then it got dumbed down because you were too busy being hard on yourself. You're no longer doing that anymore. So, your sense of power and purpose can come back and really integrate in a brand new way, in a really, really sort of dramatic way, because you're not being hard on yourself. That self-negativity is being cleansed also. And now your sense of power is coming back. Now, you've always had a sense of power, but it comes in and out. It's going to be fully integrated now. So allow yourself this time to, and I say allow, we say allow on purpose, allow this time for you to really integrate. Take that time to really cleanse. Let those tears come out, those tears of joy and those tears of release. They're a sign that they're moving from a really deep level out, and they're releasing for good. So for those of you who chose the frog, sit in your own space of beauty and just really appreciate how beautiful you are. It is really about time. Really proud of the work that you're doing. And, until we meet again, you take care. Bye-bye. Okay, for those of you who chose 10, let's see who your spirit animal, butterfly, beauty. Also, for those of you who have 25 here, that number may mean something to you. It's definitely the 25 too. It's definitely a cycle, right? We have 25 a quarter. You're moving into this beauty, sense of transformation. Also being able to see the beauty in the darkness. I think I feel for a lot of you, you've been able to do that, but you're doing that on a global level now. You're definitely holding the space for a lot of people. You have enough courage and strength to be able to do that. In the past, this energy may have actually overwhelmed you. And if it did at the beginning, you've come into the sense of transformation. You really understand the essence of transformation and what it truly means. And I think that I feel what I'm being told is that you have no fear of the transformation process. In the past, you have, because you have a very pragmatic sense of self. And also there was an essence of control. You've really learned the difference, or, integrated the difference between control and alignment. This is something that you've really been working on. This is something in some ways that you've been made to work on, because when you thought you were aligned, you were actually in control, and then everything sort of fell apart and you're like, back to square one again. That wasn't the case. You were never back to square one, but it did feel like that. But you've really, really understood and took on the sense of alignment. And, you're not afraid of the transformation process. You see it for the beauty that it is. It's absolutely incredible how far you've come. And very specifically, you're working within the essence of transformation in a brand new way that you've ever done. You can take that to the collective now. Let's see what we have. Yes, the 5 of Wands. Before, you really, really, before, I feel like there's been many you've transformed many times in your life. When you look back, you probably had 8 different personalities, and you're also chameleon type. You can go into a room and you can behave like this and this, and you can you can fit into pretty much any type of situation. You're no longer doing that's been good for you, and again, that's an essence of the control. You felt as though you had to do that in order to be accepted. You're working in a brand new way, and the transformation process for you, which you have been through many different times, you've really aligned yourself with the darkness and the pain of the transformation before. You've really felt that, like whatever was releasing from you, you felt that in your gut, you felt that in your soul. That was tough. And the controlling aspect of you, and again, I want to be very clear, everybody controls to a certain degree until we release. Everybody controls their healing period because they feel as though they have to. We have jobs, we have a life. If we fall apart right now and we have this breakdown or this breakthrough, we don't have enough time for it. So this is perfectly reasonable that you try to control all of that. But now you're not doing that. There's a release sense of it. And as you're transforming now, you're not connecting with the darkness and the painful part of it anymore. You're allowing that in a brand new way, and it's absolutely gorgeous in that you integrate into the whole essence of transforming and see it from the perspective of what you will become, not what you're going through presently. You have this sort of objectivity of coming out from the other side, looking down on the process of transformation, which really does allow you to not fight within yourself. There's been a lot of fighting. There's been a lot of trying to keep everything together. But, recently that something shifted in you, and you're working in a brand new way. Now, a lot of these spirit animals have been coming in with messages of transformation and how we're working with energy in a brand new way. Now, they're all succinct and slightly different messages, but they all hold the same sort of realm in a way, the same sort of message, the same sort of energy, the same sort of frequency. And it's to give in, it's to release, it's to allow this transformation to take you to the next height, and not to attach yourself to the dark part of it. Whatever's falling away, let it fall away. And this is something that you've done with grace and beauty. And this is something that you've always wanted to do, but there's something that clicked and activated with you, in you, when this all started happening. I don't know if you would have been able to do this at any other time. So this is an activation for you. And even though, stuff's going down and there is a lot of chaos out there, we can't say that there isn't. You're seeing through the illusion of that and seeing through the end result and the product of it, which is where we're creating a new world and we're creating a new sense of self. And that's what you're doing. So for those of you who chose the butterfly, there's an ease and there's a beauty to this. Always return to that. If that low-grade anxiety comes in or a sense of fear comes in, return to the grounding sense of who you are and the foundation of who you are, and release the need to attach on to the broken parts that are releasing, and just get back to your higher frequency and get back into that higher realm of looking down onto, the essence of transformation and just allowing it to happen. So for those of you who chose butterfly, wonderful sense of self coming in. And if you're on the verge of this happening, this is confirmation that you're absolutely well into this new stage of healing, and just releasing. So until we meet again, you take care, you butterflies out there. Bye-bye. All right, we have number 11 here. For those of you who chose spirit animal number 11, you have the deer, gentleness, diplomacy, yes. And number 22, if that resonates with you for whatever reason here. I feel as though you are moving into a new sense of truth and connecting with your own truth in a brand new way. Now, everybody has, so there's a universal truth and everybody has their own sense of truth, right? And that goes with the polarity of like right and wrong, truth and falsehood. Now you've moved into this brand new way of connecting and articulating yourself from a global, from a sort of collective sense of truth. It's not that you've eradicated your own sense of truth. You have a very strong sense of self that you've come into, but you've moved into this real high realm of accepting your higher feminine, your sort of higher priestess energy. And let's break this down for you a little second here, you dears. You've always had a feminine energy. You've had a sense that you're here to protect the divine feminine. But here's what happened with you. You didn't really integrate the divine feminine in a way. There was an aspect of you, and we're just going to do a little real talk here, all you dears out there, who considered that, or there was an aspect of your soul that considered the divine feminine a little bit of a weakness, and this is the reason why. A lot of you have come from very specific backgrounds where you had to protect yourself, and you had to protect, when you did really give the essence of the divine feminine out there, you did that in such a nurturing way that people really took advantage of you, and it broke your heart. It absolutely broke your heart, and it broke you down. So what you did is you pushed the essence of the divine feminine down there. Now, you were very clear that you protected the divine feminine. You did that in the greater world. So you weren't against the divine feminine, but you were angry at the divine feminine. You were also angry at, not the divine masculine, but you were angry at the masculine. But the essence of the divine feminine, or aspects of the feminine within yourself, you hid or dumbed down, so you would not be hurt again. So this is what's happening, and it's absolutely beautiful. You've integrated the divine feminine with all of her power. And we're not, this is not gender here. We're just using the divine feminine, and we're just going to say she. But you have integrated the divine feminine in a brand new way. And because you've done that, there's an essence of the softness of the divine feminine and the gentleness, but also the unique power and the sense of presence that you now have. And none of it's being dumbed down. And as a result, you're no longer either fearful of the masculine or angry at the masculine. And there is a sense of acceptance and gentleness that you're able to do now, and you're able to be in the world that you never were before. There was an aspect of your personality that was a little bit prickly before. You could be a little harsh, definitely harsh on yourself, but you could be a little bit harsh with others before. And again, that anger, sometimes you lashed out in a way, or you wanted to. If you didn't physically do it, you did it in your head and pulled that energy within and kept it within in the internal. All of that has shifted. It's almost like this sort of, not storm, but like you brewed this all up and you were able to release it. There's been a new integration of this divine feminine in a brand new way. You no longer see aspects of it as weak in any way, or aspects of it, to be more specific and clear, aspects of it that enabled you to get hurt before, right? So this is a really beautiful brand new way of you working with the energy. Death, yes, absolutely. I'm getting pulled to do two here for this. 5 of Swords. Yeah, there was an essence of you before that really, really wanted this sort of transformation, but you weren't able to reach it because you were you were still working with an essence of the divine feminine that you needed to work out on your own. And some of you were even sometimes like, not necessarily miserable, but it could, digestive problems, it might have made you sick too. And, it made you prickly. It made you sort of like lash out at times. And again, you may have lashed out at yourself, or you may have lashed out at other people, but you didn't say it to them. Now, I want to be clear. Sometimes, if you're having a rant and you need to get things out, absolutely do that. But what you were doing is doing it on a loop, and you had reduced yourself at time to the sort of victim kind of mentality because you hadn't fully integrated the essence of the divine feminine. Now, I do want to be really clear. You've always protected the divine feminine, and you've always been here to work from the essence of the divine feminine, but the gentleness was missing, and you're integrated in such a beautiful way that this new transformation can take place and has already started integrating. It's this catalyst, this kinetic energy of you moving forward. And, so much has come out of this. Before, when you were prickly, you actually did care what people thought, and you took in the external world too much, and you integrated it into your internal world, and you allowed it to really influence the way in which you thought of yourself, which made you want to dumb down the gentleness and the beauty that you have within you even more, right? Some of you in the past may have even become an essence of the martyr, or have leaned in that direction. Again, I want to be really clear. All of this is over. You've integrated the divine feminine in a way that there's a sense of gentleness and ease to you that wasn't there before. You no longer have to fight or be prickly. You no longer ironically care what people think of you, because they're seeing what they want to see. Whereas before, there was an inkling, this beauty. You wanted to be seen for the gentleness that you had, but you couldn't show it, not the way or to the degree that you wanted. And so there was this yearning to be seen. So when people didn't see you, even though you were hiding aspects of yourself, you got either really angry or you got genuinely hurt. It really hurt. And all of that cycle is over now. There's this new sense of self-acceptance that's just absolutely wonderful and beautiful. So I did pick 2 cards for you for the deer, because I felt I needed to. I've only been done for one for the other ones. But for those of you who are resonating with this, there's a new sense of articulation, and it's coming from this gentleness and this beauty, and it's absolutely gorgeous, and it's a brand new way of being. So relax and feel your way into this gentleness and this beauty that you've never had before, without having to sort of fight for being seen, or without having to sort of defend yourself. You're just letting it all go. And when I say you're letting it all go, I'm not saying that you don't have any power. You've regained your power. You've claimed your power through the gentleness. And for those of you who are moving out of the sort of the martyr or the victim sort of label, the stories, the label, that's all falling away too. This is a very beautiful and exciting time for you. And you will find by saying less, you'll actually gain more. So well done, dears. This is a really, really beautiful and gentle time for you, and you deserve it. You put yourself through some harshness, and as a result, you've attracted some harshness too. This is going to be a much easier period for you. And, for those of you who are in self-quarantine or in quarantine, this is a time for you to sort of regroup on your own terms, and just give yourself a little bit of space to work with this new energy before we're out and integrating back into the world again. All right, my love. All right, my loves. So until we meet again, you take care. Okay, bye-bye. For those of you who chose spirit, animal, and guide number 12, you have the hawk, omens and messages. So for those of you, I feel as though you're definitely in the higher realm, working with all of these energies already. So I feel as though you've been bordering on this anyway, moving into sort of a more global kind of working with the collective. I feel as though for those of you who chose the hawk, you've been working on a very individual basis for a long time, or in smaller groups. This is for you to take your energy out there, and for you to gain a lot more knowledge. And I want to be really clear on this. You have a lot of wisdom and a lot of knowledge that you've integrated from a lot of past lives, and a lot of different existences. And I want to be really clear about this too. You're not actually learning more wisdom. You are actually learning, the research that you are going in and doing, and for things that you're attracted to. You are now free and open to sort of incorporate certain new levels of appreciation for sort of different realms and different ideologies, and you're able to get sort of a new level of wisdom that you weren't able to get before. So it's you're sort of relearning in a way, and adding to the knowledge that you already have. You're taking it to the next level. Or for those of you who are not really researching new things right now, or new topics right now, you're taking what you already know to the next level, and taking this information to the collective. It's definitely a calling. You probably have been activated recently. If you're sitting here going, that's me, everything is an activation right now, including this reading, if not at least a confirmation. You are here to be a leader. You're also here to bring in the wisdom in a brand new way, and take it to the next level. Six of Cups, absolutely. This is bringing in the collective energy together. Now, a lot of the wisdom that you carried, a lot of codes that you have that have just been activated, if you would be saying the things that you are about to say to the collective, you might have thought that people would have thought that you were crazy, or that you would have attracted like a smaller amount of people. But we've been activated globally, and a lot of you are probably star seeds. I would say I'd say all of you are star seeds if you got the hawk. And you chose the hawk. So you've been activated. There were something that happened. I know this virus thing and the shutdown thing happened, not really, it happened quite violently and quickly in a way. All of a sudden, the shops were open and then they weren't. And, within, 3 days, people lost their jobs. So I feel as though there was a month before this sort of all went down quite quickly, that you were preparing without really knowing what was happening. Now, the virus was out there, but the level of panic wasn't quite there yet, at least not in this country or not globally. But you might have found, you probably would have found, if this is resonating with you, that you were doing certain things a month before where your spirit guides were preparing you for this moment, whether you were eating a little bit better, whether you were looking after yourself and making sure you got more rest, whether you were getting these messages. Now, they may not have made sense to you collectively in that moment, but now you look back and we're in the full throttle of this, as it were, if you want to call it that. When you look back, you can be seen that you were being prepped, you were being prepared. And the reason why is because you were being activated for this very moment to step into this power and leadership. And the one thing the many things that you can do, you can bring in the messages of hope for the new earth. So you are star seeds, and you are working for the collective right now. So all the messages that you have within you, it's time for you to get them out, and work with other star seeds. Now, you don't even have to seek them out. Everybody's been activated. You just need to get out and even do whatever it is that I'm doing on a small level here. It'll get to the right people, and then everybody's activated and move forward. So your specific thing here is to bring objectivity and bring the essence of the new earth here, and to bring messages so people can look through the illusion of fear, because there's underlying illusion of fear and panic, which is totally understandable, but a lot of it's being generated by these old systems that are crumbling, and that's all they know, right? And they're gonna go down fighting before they go down, but the old is falling away. You are here to represent the new earth, the new, and again, you've been activated, and you've almost been preparing for this, we can say, for your entire life. This is your time, but we want to be really clear here. There's no pressure. There's time to do this on your own terms. So please don't feel as though, there's any pressure or to move into this. You can take up this whenever you want, but you can clear your mind, and go into meditation and work with, you're working with telepathy. Why can I not say that word? You know what I mean. You're working with your guides in a brand new way, very clear of thought. You've always had really clear messages, but this is brand new. Again, you've been activated to the level to work on the global, to work through the illusion. And that's what you're doing here, if you chose the hawk. Now, this is very specific. And again, if this is resonating, you are star seeds. You are here to do this. You've been working on many, many levels to do this in this lifetime, but you've been preparing for many other lifetimes to do this. So your job here is to relate the messages that are coming through for the new earth, and to support people to see through the illusion of fear and to move into this higher frequency of love. Mother Nature is rejuvenating, is supporting this brand new sort of 5D coming in. The fear is very much at the level of 3D, which is crumbling. Now, some people will stay at the 3D level. Everybody has a choice, but you are here to support those who are moving through this transformational energy, who have been activated from the 3D to the 5D. Some people are working from the 4D, moving into the 5D and beyond. And you absolutely know this is you. and you are ready for this. And you're already on your way. You've got an 11 here. So for those of you starseeds who have been seeing 1111, or you've been working with numbers, I would say one of the things that you could be doing too for starseeds, there's number sequences. A lot of things that are coming in with number sequences. There's definitely books, and there's definitely information online, particularly YouTube. If you feel drawn to this and you're feeling like part of your soul's going, that feels familiar, go in and look at number sequences. This is something that extra energy, extra information and knowledge that you can take on. But you're going to be seeing the number sequences, and you would have been seeing them pretty much throughout your life, but especially in the last 6 weeks, again, through your activation process. And now that you'll probably be seeing them again. So that's just confirmation too from your guides, intergalactic guides too, that you're getting the messages, and you're here to help others see through the illusion. So welcome, Hawks. Beautiful time for you to be alive. So grateful for you. And until we meet again, you take care. Bye-bye. Number 13, one of my favorite numbers. I'm also born on the 13th, so I've got a vested interest in this number, personal interest, let's just say. So let's just see number 13, who you have: the dog, loyalty, being sincere, unconditional love. This is beautiful. This is holding space for other people. Again, the number 19 here, we have 13 and 19. I feel as though the first message that I'm getting for you guys is that you really are holding space for your family and friends. The sense of loyalty and unconditional love. This has really hit you at a family level, at a core level of being absolutely grateful for who you have in your life. And you were always very loving and loyal, but this is a new sense of sort of profound appreciation for who you've had in your life, and who you have in your life now. And again, on a personal level, who you've become. This is the sort of magic. Your magic is in the sort of, and this is not a small thing, in the domestic. I feel like you've really sort of, the way in which you show yourself. A lot of you might be, either cancers or just sort of homebodies, or have a lot of sort of water energy. Scorpio here too, but providing for your family, loyalty, making sure everybody's okay. I feel as though you've always had an essence of that in your soul, as we've already stated, but that's come to fruition. That's really been highlighted through what we've gone through, and the sense of sort of ease with it. What can I do? Taking care of without, in the past, there's an essence of your personality that's always been there. You've always done that, but people have taken advantage of you in the past. But there's an essence of power and strength and groundedness and earthiness where you're doing this without expecting anything back, or it's the way that you're showing your appreciation and this beauty for what you have and who you have. You're really taking a long look at your life and those around you and going, wow, this is incredible. I mean, I am so grateful for the people and the situation that I'm in, specifically like the roof over my head. It's really pulling things down to the core level. And this energy of transformation and appreciation that you're bringing in is not a small thing at all. It's providing a catalyst for you to move into a higher frequency. 10 of Swords. It's a way for you to work with your energy in a brand new way. You're working from your energy by really appreciating the simplicity of life. The rejoicing of the simplicity of life. You've really taken everything and you've looked around you and you've been able to pull it down into one word: joy. And it's really beautiful. I'm actually kind of getting a little bit teary-eyed here. You've taken like the essence of just like everything that just doesn't mean anything. And for you, you're really able to really differentiate like what really matters, and it's freedom and it's joy and it's love, and you're really being able to feel this on a core level. And for all of that drama that was around you, and for all that drama that you let into your life, and we all do this, yeah, nothing said about that. We all do that. You're really able to sort of rise above it and really be able to see at a core level, none of this matters anymore. None of it ever mattered. And you're able to really embrace that energy and this new way of being. And when this is all over and we're both, well, yes, both, when we're all integrated back into the world, this sense of like, none of this crap means anything anymore. I'm going to stick with joy. I'm going to stick with appreciation. This is really going to stay with you. This is not a small thing. Being able to, and I want to be clear when I say this, being able to reduce everything down to joy and love is not small. You know, it's something that we need to do. It's living a simple life. And I feel as though you do in many levels, but you did have drama around you. You did get caught up in it. There were aspects of the ego from the exterior to the interior that did call for your attention time and time again. That's literally melting around the others, and it's also melting away. And you're left with this just sense of just profound freedom from not really buying into this rubbish anymore. And this is what this has given you, and it is a gift. And it seems like it's a very simple gift. It's a really basic gift, but it's not. It's absolutely profound. In the most basic, we get the most profound understandings. You're integrating this new truth into your soul, and it's freeing you up from everything you've ever been through. And it's absolutely incredible. You're going to be able to decipher other people's truth. When people start talking to me now, you'll be like, oh, here we go. No. And you know, if it's time to say, I'm not doing this right now, or you just say, and give people space, but not take that energy on anymore. You know, you'll be able to like really decipher what matters from now on in, and just really, integrate again that essence of peace that comes from knowing that people, you know, really articulate from the sense of story that they have. What you're doing is dissolving the story of who you are, and you're allowing yourself just to move into the sense of like the collective rather than the individual. Like you're hiring your frequency and just you're moving up to the next level. That's not a small thing. So you're taking this to the next level by instigating this on a very practical level in your house. What can I do for you? And it's absolutely beautiful. And again, you've had this essence of your personality, but it's just it's a different way of working. It's very powerful. Profoundly beautiful, but again, so simplistic. And this is how you're working. And for those of you who chose the dog, it's a gorgeous way returning to yourself, returning to who you were before people projected upon you. Absolutely exciting stuff. So for all you wonderful dogs out there, you loyal, beautiful, simple, gorgeous dogs, you take care of yourself and you carry on with that beautiful, simple way of being, and teach us all how to do that. Till we meet again, take care. Bye-bye. Okay, number 14. Let's see who your guide is. The serpent, knowledge and healing. Serpent's been coming up for me a lot recently. For those of you who have a lot of magic, this could be people who are either Scorpio or Scorpio ascendants, even Scorpio moons, or have a lot of scorpionic energy, or have a lot of Scorpio around them. Those of you who are used to being in the dark, maybe stay there a little bit too long, not afraid of the darkness necessarily, maybe apprehensive because there's no telling what they will see because they're willing to go deep. This reading is for you. You have a new knowledge and healing. You're able to integrate aspects of the darkness of yourself that you've never been able to do before. For those of you who have chosen this card, you've always been a little bit of afraid of yourself, and this is the reason why. You have immense power. And for a lot of you, your power is like, if you learn how to do this alchemy wise, I mean, you could even move objects with your mind. I mean, that's how powerful you are. And there was a part of yourself that was a little bit of afraid of yourself. Would you use that energy against yourself? You have a very, very strong mind. You probably have the strongest minds out of all the zodiac if you have Scorpionic energy or Scorpio energy, or just if you're not Scorpio, You just have this sense of will and sense of power. A lot of people around you would have sensed that power. Now, your entire life, people probably either loved you or hated you, but they probably didn't know you. You're also a very difficult person to get to know. And that's for yourself too. There's certain places that you allow yourself to go. And there's certain places that you were a little afraid of because the depth of who you are. I mean, you're pretty endless. But there's a new integration of your darkness that you've just gone in there. There's a new understanding of self where some of you may have wondered if you, and I know this sounds a little dramatic, but bear with me for those who chose the serpent. Bear with me. Some of you may have questioned whether you were evil or capable of evil because you had so much depth, and there was a lot of darkness there. Now, when I say darkness, I'm talking about the unknown. I don't necessarily mean actual darkness. It was parts of yourself that you hadn't fully explored because you were so deep, and because of the power that you possess that you've sensed from a very small child, you were probably afraid of that. Now, recently, you've realized that you're starseeds and you're angels, and that, yes, you have a lot of darkness. We all do. And you've integrated that darkness and you've come into a new sense of power and knowledge that you've never been able to equate to or never been able to get to before. You're no longer afraid. There's no longer an aspect of you that's afraid of what you'll do. You're no longer afraid of yourself. You're no longer afraid that a part of you is evil. Some of you have had some interesting past lives, and we'll leave it at that, where you did do some bad stuff. We're just going to put it out there on the table. Real talk. You did some shitty stuff. Pardon my French. You did. And you're fully aware of that. You're wondering if you were going to do that in this lifetime or if you're capable of it. The answer is no. You're not here in this lifetime to do that. You're here in this lifetime to integrate the past, including past lives, and to stand for the collective. But you didn't know that until a recent time where you were activated and you moved into a sense of knowing the unknown in a way that you never have before, which means that you've integrated your darkness to a level that you've never done before, which means that you've reached an essence of power that you never have before. This is an incredible time for you because you're already very powerful. So there's literally nothing you cannot do. So for those of you who have had serpents in your dreams, especially recently within the last year, or you've been seeing 111 or 222 or 2222, you know, the number sequences, or you've been seeing serpents in meditation, this is your confirmation that you're at a new heights of power and that you're going to use that power to integrate and work for the collective. The Emperor. Yeah. You've also been working with your masculine energy too. And this is something that you needed to do. Part of this new version of power is coming into working with your magic with the masculine energy. You've worked with your magic in the divine feminine energy, which is wonderful. But that divine feminine energy is clicked into the divine masculine energy, which is why you're no longer afraid of that darkness within yourself. If anything, what you're able to do with the Emperor card here, you're able to utilize that unknown sort of masked energy that you had before and really use it for your power in a way that you can trust. Some of you didn't trust your own power. You wondered if you would be able to use it for good. Or if you did know that you were going to use it for good, could you be capable of... Now, I want to be clear, you were never capable of being corrupted because you didn't believe in the systems that are now crumbling around us. So you didn't think you could be manipulated by people in the system. But you wondered if you could, if the sense of power was going to get to your head. You did wonder about that. You understand now power from the masculine sense of self, from the masculine sense of power and magic. And now you cannot be manipulated by anything or anyone on this green earth. So your sense of power has come into fruition in a brand new way. Your sense of working with magic has come into a sense of fruition. And this too, the 2-3, sequential, moving forward. Hang on a second. Excuse me. Moving forward in a brand new way. Let's move these up. Moving forward in a brand new way and using your power in a brand new way. It's a more cohesive way. It's a less secretive way. You'll always have your secrets a little bit, but you sort of worked with your power on away from away from the light, not, away from society. You kind of did things behind closed doors. You had a little bit of a secret sort of healing process. All of your processes were behind closed doors. There was an essence of secretive. You had a secret essence of self. You're a lot more open now, almost like an open book. You're working brand new in a brand new way. It's very exciting for you. And for those of you who chose the serpent, there's really nothing that you can't do. Now, you had an essence of that. You already understood your power. But now that there's an essence of fear that's not afraid of that power, you can use that masculine sense of the magician coming in with the integration of the softness and the power of the divine feminine to move your studies and your knowledge and your articulation in a brand new way. You're also working with your throat chakra. You're very good at doing things on a one-to-one level or in small groups. You're being asked to bring this knowledge that you now have globally. So just work on and throwing out the crap, the old stuff from your throat level. Some of you still have that, they don't want to hear me, or for those of you who still have echoes of, if I speak this truth, I will be killed, or I will be chastised for this. This is, just stuff from a past life. Clear that out from the throat chakra with intention, with meditation, and just speak your truth with the power and new integration that you have. Nothing you can't do. Brand new levels of power, which were already increasingly high. So can't imagine what you're going to do here. I can't wait to see. So if this resonates with you, especially for the Emperor card, the serpents, do let me know in the comments. And until we meet again, you take care. Bye-bye. So number 15, let's see who your spirit guide, your animal spirit guide, and what message they have for you. The cat, independence, healthy, and boundaries. Number 18, as well as this 15 here, may have some resonance with you. So this is definitely about figuring out your boundaries here. This is a time for those of you who have been aloof before and have convinced yourself that, it doesn't matter, I'm not affected by anything. You have been deeply affected by things and by people and by situations in a way that you've never really been. I think you've been quite honest with yourself, but you've never really let anyone know. You have a sense of aloofness, and you used that as protection before, but your energy is transforming. You're no longer doing that. You realize that you are ultimately connected, and you're feeling that on a core and a soul level. You're absolutely connected to every single person. You're really aware of your energy and what you put out there and what comes back. We're told this in metaphysics, there's courses about what energy you put out there, how you manifest X, Y, and Z, but you're understanding this on a core level. Everybody hears that. I feel as though, anybody who's into any kind of spirituality, it almost to the point where it gets whitewashed or wishy-washy. It becomes wishy-washy, but it's not for you. You've actually integrated this knowledge. You really understand the essence of boundaries. You understand the essence of, independence and how you've protected yourself. And those boundaries that you put up before have been really necessary because, people have hurt you in the past. But what you've done is that you've really set up those boundaries in a way that they became a wall. And then you sort of took yourself out of the world a little bit. And there wasn't a sense of connection, to the point where sometimes you wondered why you should be here. Oh, cats. Well, you're here for a reason, because you're beautiful and your energy is there, but your sense of connection has really shifted. You understand how your energy works individually, and both for the collective, for the individual, for you, and for the world at large. And you do understand that you are connected to every living being. Now, you may have found this connection or the sense of connection through animals first, and then through humans, because you actually understand animals more than you do humans. Humans, you don't understand how they can be so ignorant and how they can say certain things and how they can treat people like that, how they can be so full of fear. But now you're understanding why they are like that, because they are full of fear and they are scared, and they've made choices, and these are choices that you've made also. But you've also been reflective and responsible for your own energy. Now, all of this is shifting and changing, and your energy of the transforming now is coming into this energy of integration that you've never had before. You're almost proud to be a human. That's something that you couldn't have said before. And again, you might have come through this energy and loving spirit, by working with animals. Oh, the High Priestess. Yes, this is a brand new working of energy for you. It's it's truly beautiful. And again, we have the owl here. It's definitely through animals that you got this. You saw You're probably very protective of them. You may even work with them, or at least, send money for PETA or whatever. If you're not vegan, then you're bordering on, or you have, immense sense and humanity for animals. You're now taking that humanity for humans, and I think there's something that's broken you down in a good way with stuff that we've gone through the vulnerability of the collective. You've also learned how to be vulnerable, and through that you've understood connection is really important. You've also understood throughout your life how you've disconnected, and how you've used the boundaries in the past as an excuse to build that wall out of protection. And again, I want to be really clear for those of you who have chosen the cat. Sometimes we have to build those walls just so we can treat ourselves with some respect, so we can figure out where we begin and somebody else starts, so we can heal on our own terms. And if you're empathic like you are, then you might have needed to have done that in the past. So there's no way of saying that we can say that the way in which you've healed before, it was right or wrong. It was right for you, and that 2 thumbs up there. But you no longer need to do that, because what it's been doing, it's been creating this wall, like we said, and that boundary now has created that wall. That wall is crumbling down. The sense of connection, the sense of vulnerability, the sense of being proud of being human, and being proud of what you've been through, and seeing people grow from this, and seeing how you're growing from this, and taking that love of animals, of innocence, and being able to see that in the eyes and the soul of humans for the first time for you, for those of you who chose the cat. For you, before, you would have looked at the human race and been very disappointed, and seen a lot of the negativity. You saw pockets of beauty, but you've not been able to see it to this level before. And it's melted you into this like beautiful spirit of hope and beauty. So for those of you who chose the cat, keep going with this energy of humanity. You're right where you need to be, and just, keep dissolving that wall and integrate yourself right back into this world, because we need you. And that sense of connection is just going to grow and grow and grow. So proud of you. You take care, and until we meet again, bye-bye, all you cats out there. Okay, number 16, let's see what guide you have from the animal realm. Oh, the horse, accepting help from another, delegating authority. Number 26, for those of you who were feeling a little overwhelmed, and my goodness, who isn't right now? But for those of you who are really feeling overwhelmed because you're ultra independent and you're usually the one that's there for everybody else, please take the time to nurture and take and be who you are. And take that time for yourself. I know that you might be busy running around doing things for other people and getting things ready. You've got a very practical mindset. You're vigilant. But, I want to remind you, you cannot pour from an empty cup. I know for those of you who are sitting out there who chose the horse going, the stuff needs to get done. Who's gonna get it done? Please ask for help. It's really important that you look after yourself right now. And the sense of being overwhelmed might even be compromising your immune system. I know you're extremely independent, but sometimes it's good to ask for help. People will not crumble and fall if you're not there, every 15 minutes. Do what needs to be done, absolutely, but ask for help. And the other thing that's really important for you horses out there, when help is offered, please, will you take it? For those of you out there who are being offered help, but you're like, oh, I've got this. But please, if anything that we can take from this, we're all connected. If you're being offered help, take it. Even if you feel uncomfortable, even if you think you don't deserve it, even if you think the help is too much and you've got it, here's what I want you to do anyway. Here's what we want you to do. Take it anyway. Any help that's offered, just say yes. That's what we're asking you to do. Even if you feel as though, you don't need it. Say yes anyway, because on a collective level, it's helping you sort of break down the sort of essence of independent. You have a very clouded essence of independence to the point where you use it as a way to control, not the people around you, but to control what you do for people and control it. And I know some of you want to stay busy, so that's why you're doing this. Again, totally understand where you're coming from. But you're being asked to dissolve that and all the help that's coming your way that's being offered. And some of you are being offered help. You can go back and re-request it or just say yes no matter what, even if you feel comfortable. Or as we said, the help is too much. Oh, I didn't ask for this. This is crazy. Just say yes. Just say yes. That's what your message is. Say yes regardless. All the help that comes your way that's offered, you say yes no matter what. I don't even want you to think about it. I just want you to say yes. It's really important because you're worthy of this help. And it's really important, the message that I'm getting, all the help that you're being offered now, even if you think it's too much, it's because you put out all the effort and that help for other people. It's now coming back to you. And so, are you owed it? Yes. I don't really like saying that because it sort of puts out the energy that everything you put out, you're owed back. That's not really quite how it works. But you put out so much energy for other people and other situations before. It's all coming back now. So if you're saying no to that, you're saying no to the universe. So you're going to say yes to every single help that comes to you. Six of Swords, yes. And this loneliness of trying to do everything on your own is preying on you. You have all this magic. You have all this help. Look at all the crows that are sitting there with all this magic just behind you saying, just underneath you going, we're here, we're here. Let me help you. You say yes. And it's really important for you to slow down too. And you are taking on a little bit too much. It's really, really important for you to slow down. Take a breath. And for those of you who are really busy and do have a lot of responsibilities, totally accept that. But you need to take some time for yourself. Even if you have to carve out that time for yourself, this is time for you to really reach out and get into the connection of vulnerability. This is a time for you to show your vulnerability and to accept help. I know for those of you who are afraid of being a little bit vulnerable right now because you feel overwhelmed, if you let in some of that vulnerable energy, then you're not going to be able to keep up with what needs to be done. And that's not true. The opposite of true. If you let in that vulnerable energy, really carve out time if you're busy to let that vulnerable energy in. Put yourself first, put your energy first, accept all the energy and all the help that's coming your way. You're going to find this connection, a sense of level of connection that you've not had before, where you realize that if you just slow down, the whole world around you is not going to crumble. Everything is going to be fine. This is a way to work with your own sense of self, your own sense of authority in your own personal world right now, and to accept help and to know that you deserve it. This is, you're really good in a crisis. You're the first person there. You're level-headed. You get it done. But this is for you to allow others to help you through this too. Okay. So for those who are horses out there, your message, your word is yes. Say yes to all the help that's coming. Absolutely. Even if you think you don't need it. Even if you think you don't need it, just say yes. It's going to fuse your essence of who you believe you are and what you're doing in this lifetime. It's going to help you in ways that just don't make sense until you say yes. So your word is yes. All you horses out there, go get some rest. Go get some rest. Even if you have to carve out time, go be you. Remember, you can't pour from an empty cup. All right, my darling horses, go be you. And until we meet again, take care and bye-bye. Okay, number 17. For those of you who chose this animal guide, the owl, deception and wisdom. Yes, we've had the essence of this energy before, and it's coming in again. You are definitely able to see through the illusion, through the fear, into the objectivity of what's going on here. And you can bring in all different points of view, all different aspects of energy. Everything's fusing for you at the same time. It's a really beautiful time for Be Alive for you. You're bringing in that wisdom. And for those of you on a very specific level, usually these are general messages, but I tell you what I'm told. For those of of you who have noticed that if you're on self-quarantining or quarantining or getting to the point where you are, if you've noticed that you've become a night owl, or the way in which you're sort of up and down and when you're awake and when you're asleep, and it's naturally shifted to the night energy, that is wisdom for you. It's quieter. You can also work with the moon and moonlight energy. And it's something that you probably wouldn't have like sought out, but you're naturally a little bit more of a night owl right now. And that's what's going on too. Your guides are coming to you in the night energy also. And there's a calmness that comes to you. You may feel as though you're a little bit calm at night. And, we could say that, if you live in the US or whatever, that's because most people are asleep. But, globally, this is happening globally when we're asleep, other people are up. So it's not quite true. It's because in the night energy, you're connecting in a brand new way in this energy of the moonlight and the moon. So you can speak directly to the phases of the moon too. It might be worth you looking up to the phases of the moon. For those of you who are already around moon energy or moon stones, then you're already aware of this. This is just sort of shining a light on the next level of intensity for you. And for those of you who have just become sort of night owls, then looking up that energy of the moon will bring you a deeper clarity into this. But either way, you're working into this sense of illusion, and again, stories, working out of the fear and working into the essence of the new energy that's coming in, that's breaking down the old energy. Page of Wands. So, the one thing that you can do, and you've always been able to do this, there's a lot of, how do we say it? We don't want to be rude about it, but there's a lot of people out there saying a lot of different things in spirituality. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And, some of it's outmoded. It doesn't really work. And some of it's just, coming from the ego, and some of it's just rubbish. You're able to see all the way through that. You're able to see people's essence and energies, what you're attracted to. You're able to see the wolf from its clothing. I don't even think that's a saying. I'm pretty sure that I messed that up, but you get what I'm saying. You're able to see the essence of somebody and see the worthiness of what they're saying. The way in which energy works is shifting. The way in which people have manifested before to get what they want no longer works anymore. This is a brand new way of being, but the energy and the wisdom that you have is working with the new world and the 5D that's coming in. So you see through all of those illusions. Now, again, these people may have believed this, and it may have worked with the 3D energy moving into the 5D energy before, but a lot of these people who are manifestors and whatever, and again, we don't cuss anybody down. It worked then, and it worked for the people who signed up for them, for their clients, and that's great. But you were able to see through all of that deception and wisdom, and it's not exactly deception because they believed it, but none of that's working anymore because we've shifted already into the 5D. And for those of you who are working in the 5D already, none of that stuff works. That was for the 3D people who were trying to shift into 5D. So, and some of it was, again, it wasn't deception because they believed it, but it was coming from the ego. Now, you were working on a completely different level. You've always been able to sense and see this in people. It's almost like when you looked at somebody, they had like a mask on. You could see if they were true and if they weren't. And they weren't even aware of it because they may have been like, quote unquote, sort of metaphysical, but they may have been working with such darkness on the ego level that they didn't really know that they were working on that level. But you could see that with people, or people who were doing their best. And again, everybody's doing their best. We're not shining a light or darkness or calling people out. That's not what we're doing. But even when you work with people who are incredibly sweet, you may have been able to see a darkness or gotten sick around them or seen something in them. And it's something that was unlooked on by them, so narcissists or something like that. And they may have meant well. It's just an aspect of their soul that they weren't working on and they were projecting onto other people, right? But you were able to see all of that. Now what you're able to do with that visibility, with that beauty, is you're taking that to the next level. You're already working in the 5D. You're just about to shift into the 5D. You're able to guide people to see through the illusion of what this is and take everybody to the new earth. Not in this sort of like, not that there's anything wrong with hippie, but with this hippy dippy sort of whitewashy kind of spirituality that we've had in the past. It's not necessarily inclusive, but it's sort of preliminary. It's sort of, a one stage deal, This is at the core inclusive, bringing everybody in, being conscious of everybody's energy, working from far beyond the ego, through the illusion of labels, through the illusion of power, through the illusion of gaining power, through the illusion of, more importantly, of teaching people how to reclaim power. We're beyond the power. The power is in the fact that we know who we are. We don't have to reclaim anything. It's already there. You've moved into this new essence of working with a brand new way of shifting the illusion and just accepting who we are. It's a very powerful time for you. You're very susceptible to energy, very lucky, the sort of people who land on their feet, because you're always supposed to do this kind of work. But now you're working with different timelines, sort of shamanistic kind of essences. Again, the quietness at night, bringing in your own sense of truth, which is universal truth. And you don't have to shout it from the rooftops. You just have to be who you are, and people will be attracted to you. So bringing that sense of looking through the illusion and moving into a brand new sense of self, of what you're bringing. And this is what you're doing. So, Owls, this is incredible. Beautiful work that you're doing. If you haven't started it already, you're ready to move into that. Gorgeous times for you. Let me know how you're doing down in the comments, and until we meet again, take care. Bye-bye. All right, last but not least, number 18. I'm turning this over. So this is the spider. I actually have, this is a personal one for me. I actually have spider energy. I've always had spider energy around me. So for those of you creative projects, number 15 could mean something. So you have the creativity of bringing the creative, of the unknown, of the darkness, of what people fear before, into the creative process. And teaching people again, we've had this as kind of a theme of teaching people how to work through the illusion of darkness and to see the beauty through the darkness. Spiders are, some of them are poisonous. If you get in their way, sometimes they bite you. I used to get spider bites all the time when I was younger, when I was not listening to the universe. And I still have a scar on one of my arms from a spider bite. So yeah, it's I think the message that I'm getting for all you spider energies out there is that you're not going to get bitten. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just using that as an example for me, but it's very, very intense, beautiful energy. It's also the intention of different points of view. They're in different parts of the room. You don't always know they're there, right? And people are afraid of them naturally. So it's an essence of bringing in the aspect of you that you were afraid of, the aspect of the unknown, and putting it down in creative realms, putting it down in creative form, on paper, in a course, standing there for others to understand the creativity that comes out of the darkness. That's what you're doing. For those of you who haven't been understood by the world, it's because you didn't understand all aspects of yourself, but you've recently come into a new sense of power because you've integrated the darkness within yourself. Now, this has come up before in another one, I think the serpent. You have, for those of you who have picked the spider, can't remember which number it is, but there's the serpent that came up. That's also energy to strength. Yes, that's also energy for you. I think it's very similar to your energy here too. You've gained a new sense of strength, a new sense of self from taking in all aspects of self that you've previously been afraid of. And the reason why you've been afraid of different aspects of yourself is because your sense of power, but you didn't understand all aspects of yourself. I feel as though people just treated you differently when you were younger, and you took that as a norm. You've taken in all aspects of yourself now, and you created a sort of platform for yourself where you understand that you were deeper than a lot of people gave you. You were deeper. People sense your depths, but it also frightened them. But it's almost like you've dove to the bottom of the pool, and you've seen all aspects of yourself, and you've really integrated like every aspect of who you are. Like for some of you who wondered if you were pretty enough, or, there's nothing standard about you, whoever's chosen the spider. The way in which you do things, sort of on the outskirts of society. You have a very powerful look, but you may not be, you may be absolutely stunning, but you may not be, of the norm. Looking, you probably have very penetrating eyes. You have a sense of like darkness and beauty and mystery about you. You're very articulate and beautiful. You're very creative, but the way in which you actually create, like your work in the past may have actually have intimidated people, because it showed a depth that people weren't ready to see yet in themselves or in the world. But you've really incorporated all of that recently. You've incorporated all aspects of yourself, and there's a sense of acceptance and a platform of acceptance that never happened before. So yeah, you are beautiful enough. Do you look like, every model? There's kind of a model look. Do you look like them? No, probably not. But the beauty of who you are, and the way in which you look, the way in which you hold yourself is very different too. For those of you who chose spider, you're actually like standing tall. You're standing like you're really breathing in through your lungs. You're really understanding who you are. You probably feel taller. Your sense of strength is coming from a sense of self-appreciation. And again, this platform of self-acceptance where you've really embraced your darkness, but in a different way. Like, the serpent, for those of you who pick the serpent, also, you embrace your sense of darkness and used it in a powerful way. You've embraced your sense of sort of like unknown darkness in this really quirky, beautiful way. And this quirkiness that you've always had, but sort of you hid a little bit to certain extents, because people thought you were kind of like quirky already, and they thought may have been kind of frightened of you. You've really embraced that. And so you have this sense of originality, which does show in your eyes, does show in your look. You're probably very expressive in the way that you either wear your makeup, or the way in which you dress, or at least you used to. If you dumb that down, it's because you were trying to fit in. The essence of this message is that you've stopped trying to fit in, and it's beautiful. You're really accepting all aspects of this quirkiness, and you're just letting it out, and you just don't care anymore. And the part of you that's sort of working on the sidelines, there's an aspect of you that's quiet, and you'll always do that, but it's not in secret anymore. You're allowing that quirkiness out. You're allowing that beauty out, and you're not expecting to be accepted. You no longer care. So that strength is coming from that platform of that quirkiness, that beautiful. And for the first time, instead of, it's not that you really wanted to fit in, but maybe you thought it would be easier, but there was an essence of you that if you didn't want to fit in, you definitely compared yourself to the norm. So now you're saying you're creating your own norm now. Embrace that spider energy, that creative energy. You now know that, like, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. This is what I look like. You can fall into what I believe. I'm not falling into what you believe. And the right people will be drawn into your web for sure, because you definitely have that quirky, mysterious, fun energy. And the one thing that's coming out for you that happened in another one too, I can't remember which one, but because you're really embracing who you are, it's really beautiful. That sense of like joy and like inner kid-like is coming out again, and you're starting to play again. And you had an aspect to that personality, but you kept it kind of on the sidelines. That's integrating fully now, and it's really fun coming into your creative element and that quirkiness. It's really lending to your quirkiness and making you like even more attractive to people. So that attractive level, all you spiders out there, is coming to this really new heights. And they might be like a little bit afraid of you, because you're like, who is this person? They're a little bit odd, but they're going to be completely attracted to you in that web. So for all you spiders out there, keep going with that beautiful self-acceptance. And remember, no more comparing yourself to a world that's already crumbling. So who cares, right? You really are in a position to create your own world, because the whole world's doing it. So this is your time to shine on your own terms. So spider energies, fellow spider energies out there, so proud of you. Well done. Let me know in the comments if this resonated with you. I'd love to connect with some more spider energy peeps out there. And until we meet again, don't forget to subscribe. Give me a thumbs up. and share the video. We're all about the love and support here and the clarity. So it really helps and supports the channel if you subscribe. So an honor to have you. And until we meet again, all you spider folk out there, take care. Bye-bye.